We're going to look at the fractions 3/4 and 2/3. And we're going to try to do all four our operations with these two fractions. We're going to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. We're going to show a couple different ways of doing it. And each time, what we're going to start off with is two rectangles. I'm going to try to draw two rectangles pretty much the same size, best I can. All right. And so I have one rectangle for my first fraction and one for the second. So 3/4. I'm going to divide my fraction up into fourths. So that means I'm going to divide it in half. And then I'm going to divide each of those halves in half. And notice I'm drawing horizontal lines to do my first fraction. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the other one. So again, let's color code this. So this is my 3/4. Do that in red. This will be my red one. 3/4. And I'm going to kind of shade in 3/4. There we go. So there's 3/4 shaded in. For my other one, my 2/3, instead of drawing my lines horizontally, I'm going to do the opposite. So since I did the first one horizontally, I'm going to draw these lines vertically, right? So we'll draw some vertical lines. 2/3, so I need to split them up in thirds. There we go, there's one. There's one. So I divided this rectangle up into thirds, and I'm going to color in two of the thirds. And this is 2/3. Again, the bottom number is how many parts. The top number is how many parts I'm coloring in. So I'm coloring in two of the three parts. All right. Now, the one on the left is 3/4, the one on the right is 2/3. When I want to combine these with whatever operation I do, it doesn't matter if I'm add, subtract, multiply, or divide, I need to make a common denominator. So with my boxes, to make a common denominator, I'm just going to copy the lines from one to the other. So for my first fraction, you see how I have those horizontal lines going across? I want to copy those over to the one on the right. I'm going to do it in red just so you see it came from the red one. So let's try this. So there's my line from this one. 1, 2, 3. You see, I just kind of copied those lines over. So I divided that one over there into fourths up and down. Okay. Now I need to do the same thing to the one on the left because the one on the right initially had thirds. It had two vertical lines. So I'm going to put two vertical lines. I'm doing them in blue. So you can see I'm doing this, copying this from the one on the right. Okay. So now both rectangles have exactly the same number of boxes. Okay. So let's count how many boxes they have. I have one box, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Each one has 12 boxes total. Well, if you were adding these, let's start off with that first. If I'm adding these two fractions together, the first thing I would do is get a common denominator. And to get a common denominator, we take our denominators, 4 and 3, we multiply them together. Well, 4 times 3 is 12. And then we'd say, okay, well, if I'm multiplying this 4 by 3, I need to multiply that one by 3. Sometimes we call this like the rule of 4, multiplying both of those by 3. So that gives me a 9 up there. And then I'm going to do the same thing the other way, multiply this one and this one. So I got the 12. 4 times 2 gives me 8. So there's my common denominators. Okay, I haven't changed the fractions as far as what they equal, just changed what they look like. If I'm adding them, I'd say, okay, let's leave the denominator alone. What's 9 plus 8? Well, 9 plus 8 is 17. Well, let's come over here to my picture. How could I get that same answer from my picture? Okay, well, the bottom of the fraction is how many boxes I have. Well, notice I have in one rectangle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is how many boxes there are in one rectangle. There's my 12. The top number is how many boxes I've shaded in. All right, so let's count how many boxes I've shaded in. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's the 9 right there. One, oh, 9 up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or if I just add them all together, that 9 and that 8 make a total of 17. Okay, so that's using my rectangles to add fractions. If I was trying to subtract, I would do exactly the same steps. I would just then say, well, instead of adding our boxes together, we're just going to subtract. I would do 9 minus 8 and 9 minus 8 would be 1 over 12. Okay, so that's what I do if I want to add or subtract. Now, what if I want to do something like multiplication or division? Because those things seem really different, but we're still going to use our boxes. You get rid of some of this. Let's see how we can multiply or divide. Get rid of those, rid of that. Okay. Now, most of my work with my boxes is going to stay the same. I still made my box for the one on the left. I still made it for the one on the right. I still did everything exactly the same. In fact, I can even put my numbers back up. Okay. So for my first box, there are 9 excuse me, boxes that are shaded in. For the second rectangle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boxes are shaded in. But let's say instead of adding or subtracting, we want to divide these two fractions. Now, there's a couple ways of doing that, but if I'm looking at my boxes, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the number from my first one, excuse me, as a 9, divided by the number from my second one is an 8. And there's my answer. Now, obviously, it's an improper fraction, so you might change that to a proper fraction. I'm probably changing it to a mixed number, however, but that is my answer. Okay. Now, if I was trying to do this without the rectangles, this is what I would do. When I divide by fractions, we take our first fraction and we multiply it by the reciprocal of the other one. So 3 over 2. When we multiply fractions, we multiply the tops together. 3 times 3 is 9. And then we multiply the bottoms together. 4 times 2 is 8. And notice we get exactly the same thing that I got with our boxes. Okay. But what if I wanted to multiply? Multiply with the boxes works, it just works slightly differently. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this, get rid of that. What if we're trying to multiply? So let's change that to a multiplication. I'm going to erase my boxes, or at least erase some of my work, and just kind of rewrite it just a bit to make it a little cleaner. I'm going to end up redoing a lot of that work anyway, but there we go. All right, so again, I have my 2 rectangles. I have it divided up. Let's see if that lets me. Highlighter. I think maybe. All right, so I'm going to try to highlight this first one. See, and again, I want 3/4 of it. Yeah, something like that. That'll show work better. Better. All right, so there's my 3/4, and then I'm going to come over to the other one, and we're going to highlight 2/3, so 2 of the 3 spaces. All right, so there we go. Just like before, I'm going to copy the lines over. So my 3/4, so I'm going to copy the lines from here over there. I don't know why I thought that was going to draw an arrow for me. So I'm going to copy my lines over. And by copying the lines over, all I'm really doing is getting a common denominator. I'm going to copy my horizontal lines over here. And again, just like before, that's going to give me 4 boxes. Okay. Now, at this point in time, I want to think what would happen if I took my 2 rectangles and I put them on top of each other. Now, I have no idea if this is going to work on here. It probably will not. In mind. Let's see here. So if I copy those over, it would look something kind of like that. Yeah. All right. And so when I think of like, what would happen if I copied that over? I'm going to undo that. All right. Because I think I can figure this out without having to actually literally drag something over. Because if you're doing this with a pencil, you're not able to drag stuff over like that. But if I copy that over, what boxes are highlighted in both? Well, let's think about it. Well, this box right there, that's highlighted in both. This box is highlighted in both. Ooh, that box is not. This box would be highlighted by both. This box would be not that one. This box would be, this box would be not that one. And of course, none of the bottom ones, because none of the bottoms are highlighted on the red one. Okay. So let's see here. How many boxes are highlighted in both? So if I kind of merge them into one rectangle, which boxes would be highlighted by both the first one and the second one? Well, it's those, and there's 6 of them. 6 boxes. How many boxes are there total in one rectangle? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 boxes total. There's my answer. So multiplication, you think of it as the boxes they have in common. Now, let's say I don't want to draw rectangles. How could I figure that out? Well, we'll do exactly what we did with division just a second ago. We're going to multiply those together. 3 times 2 is 6. We're going to multiply those together. 4 times 3 is 12. And we get our same answer. Okay. We're going to try to do an example that uses different fractions just so we can see our boxes made again. And we'll just stick with multiplication and division for this one. So let me delete all that. Put a couple boxes up here real quick. Oh, actually, before I put the boxes, I need to figure out what fractions I'm going to use. I'll see here. I use 2/3. Let's do something. Let's do like 2/5. And let's see here. 3/4. Half. We use 1/2. Okay. And we'll start off by dividing them. All right. And we're going to do both division and multiplication. So see if you can pause the video and see if you can beat me to the answer for both of them. So I'm going to start off by drawing my rectangles. Rectangle 1, rectangle 2, somewhat the same size. All right, so my first fraction, we'll call this one the red one. So my first one, 2/5. I need to divide my rectangle into 5 parts. Right? When I divide it into fifths, I always think about drawing one rectangle in the middle. I should probably use my line tool. I draw one rectangle in the middle like that. And then I just have those 2 sections on either side. I'm just going to cut those in half. There we go. There we go. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rectangles. Okay. Of course, we're only going to color in 2 of those because the top number is 2. So I'm going to color in 2. I didn't use white, use red. And there we go. So my 2 rectangles colored in. All right. Now I'm going to the second one. It's the 1/2. Let's get my lines out. The bottom number is a 2. Now, again, my first fraction, I drew the lines vertically. So I'm going to draw my lines horizontal. And if I'm cutting it in half, all I need to do is one line going across. Boom. And I'm going to highlight 1. So the top number is a 1. So my fraction's 1/2. Oops. Still on line tool. There we go. So I have 2 boxes. I'm going to color in one of them. There we go. All right. My coloring skills are absolutely beautiful. So now I'm going to copy the lines over to each graph. So pull my white line tool out. All right. So on the left, I have those 1, 2, 3, 4 vertical lines going. So I'm going to copy those vertical lines over here. 1, 2, that, and like that. There we go. And then on the one on the right, I just have one horizontal line. So there you go. There's my one horizontal line. So I need to ask, since we're doing division, I'm just dividing. How many are colored on the left? How many are colored on the right? Well, on the left, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes that are colored in. How many are colored in on the right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 boxes over here that are colored in. So my answer is 4 divided by 5. To do that without the boxes, we're going to write the first fraction down. It was 2/5. We're going to change that to multiplication, and we're going to flip that second fraction upside down. And then we're going to multiply the tops together. 2 times 2 is 4. We're going to multiply the bottoms together. 5 times 1 is 5, and I get the same answer. Okay? So that's for multiplication. Excuse me, that's for division. What if I wanted to multiply instead? Let's get rid of all of that. I'm not going to erase my boxes or my work because I'm going to use that same work. Don't need that though. So think about it. If I laid these 2 boxes on top of each other, how many boxes would there be in common? All right. Well, I see over here all the boxes in the top row. So for the blue one, all of these are highlighted. So basically this entire row would be highlighted. Well, which of those boxes do they have in common? Well, they only have 2 in common. It's just that box and that box. That's the only 2 boxes that my 2 rectangles both have shaded in common. So that means the top, or the numerator of my answer, is going to be 2. Then I'm going to ask, well, how many boxes are there total in my rectangle? Well, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. So I have 2/10 as my final answer. Well, let's see what happens if, instead of dividing, we're multiplying. We did this without my rectangles. Let's find out what would happen. Well, we'd multiply 2 times 1, and we'd get 2. We'd multiply 5 times 2, and we'd get 10, and we get exactly the same fraction. And yes, I realize 2/10 is not simplified. We could then further go through and simplify it. We could say, okay, well, what can I divide top and bottom by? Well, I can divide top and bottom by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And so we could get an answer of 1/5. All right. But if you're not looking for a simplified answer, 2/10 is a correct answer. It's just not necessarily a simplified answer. So that's how you can multiply, divide, and then of course add and subtract as well. If we wanted to add, I could say, oh, I had 4 red rectangles on the left. I had 5, and so I'd get 9 out of 1, 2, 3, 10. I had 9/10. If I subtracted, well, I have 4 on the left. I have 5 on the right. I'd do 4 minus 5. I'd get negative 1/10. Right? So that's how we can add, multiply, subtract, and divide with rectangles.